Hello everyone, welcome to the Entry app. Today we are going to do 24 June current affairs. These have been compiled by me Bhavna from different important news sources such as the Indian Express, the Hindu, PIB and all the other important news sources. All these current affairs are very important from the perspective of your all one day competitive entrance examinations. This is an overview of today's session. We are going to cover the national news and COVID-19 related news. It would be followed by the important states news, economy, banking and business related news, awards, people in news and the important days. Let's start with the important national and COVID-19 related news. The first news of the day is Navrakshak PPE approved by the ICMR. Now this news has very important acronyms. What is ICMR? ICMR is the Indian Council of Medical Research. What is PPE? Personal protective equipment. So this has lot been in news during the corona times. So PPE is basically all the protective clothing, helmets, goggles or the other equipments that are used by the frontline healthcare workers to protect them from injury and infection. So user-friendly PPE have been approved by the Indian Council of Medical Research, and it is expected that these would be in the market within a month, because the NRDC, which is the National Research Development Corporation, has issued license to 5 MSMEs. Now, what does MSME stands for? MSME is micro, small and medium enterprises. Navrakshak means Nobel Protector. What is the speciality of this Navrakshak? It has two distinctive factors. First is optimal protectiveness and the second is optimal breathability. You must have heard that the PPEs which are being used by doctors presently, they are facing a lot of issues because of breathing problems, breathing issues. They're not able to properly, they don't let the bodies of the workers breathe properly. So this is what Navrakshak is focusing on, that there would be optimal breathability at the same time providing optimal protectiveness. These PPE could be provided at an optimal cost of 450 to 500 per piece, as the technology and quality of fabric is superior quality and they need no sealing around the seam of suit, ruling out the import of costly sealing machines and tapes. So this Navrakshak PPE uses non-woven advanced quality fabric of specific GSM with a certain stitching technique. This unique characteristic of fabric makes it strong, uniform structure which acts as an excellent barrier for liquids, particles, blood and body fluids. Intellectual property facilitation cell of Ministry of Defense has already filed patent for innovative cost-effective PPE which has been developed by Indian Navy. Now when they'll apply for patent, this will enable them to introduce mass production of these Navrakshak PPEs. Now, as in the last lecture, I told you that we are going to do all the important questions related to that particular news after every news. So for this particular news, the important probable questions could be, which of the following developed PPE? That is the Indian Navy. What is the full form of PPE? So which of the following developed the Navrakshak PPEs? That would be the Indian Navy. What is the full form of PPE? What is the full form of ICMR? Also, some important facts about ICMR, which can also form a lot of static questions about ICMR. So it's funded by the Government of India through Department of Health Research, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Its headquarters are in New Delhi, and the Secretary and Director General is Dr. Balram Bhargav. So these could be probable question: where are the headquarters of ICMR situated? Who is the Secretary and Director General? Under which ministry does ICMR function? The second news of the day is about an international project to develop pathway to low carbon dioxide mobility for India. So the name of this international project is Decarbonizing Transport in India. Niti Aayog, in collaboration with ITF, International Transport Forum, is going to launch this project on 24 June. This project would be launched with an intention to develop a pathway towards a low carbon transport system for India. So this organization ITF, which stands for International Transport Forum, is an intergovernmental organization within the OECD. Now, what is OECD? OECD stands for Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. India has been a member of ITF since 2008. So this project of India, that is decarbonizing transport in India, is carried out in the wider context of International Transport Forum's Decarbonizing Transport Initiative. So this project is as part of the bigger project that the ITF is already conducting on the world level. It is a part of the Decarbonizing Transport in Emerging Economies family of projects which supports decarbonization across different world regions. As we can see over here, India, Argentina, Azerbaijan, and Morocco are the current participants of this project. DTEE is a collaboration between ITF and Wuppertal Institute, which is supported by the International Climate Initiative of the German Federal Ministry of Environment, Nature Conservation, and Nuclear Safety. So, this project would offer an opportunity to provide inputs regarding India's transport challenges and how they relate to CO2 reduction ambitions. The discussion will also help to focus the project further on India's specific needs and circumstances. So Niti Aayog is the think tank of the government of India. It replaced Planning Commission. The chairman of Niti Aayog is the Prime Minister of our country, Mr. Narendra Modi. The CEO is Amitabh Kant, and the vice chairman is Rajiv Kumar. And what does NITI stands for in Niti Aayog? NITI stands for National Institution for Transforming India. The probable questions from this news could be, with which of the following organization is the ITF conducting India's decarbonizing transport project? What is the full form of ITF? Where are the headquarters of Niti Aayog situated? What is the full form of Niti Aayog? Who's the chairman, CEO, or vice chairman of Niti Aayog? Also, one question could be, under which international organization does ITF function? Next is a very important news related to COVID-19. So, Hetero and Cipla have also received DCGI nod to manufacture remdesivir, which was the first drug that was considered for in the world's biggest trial testing under existing treatments, and it has been found to cut the risk of death by a third for patient on ventilators, and for those on oxygen it cuts deaths by a fifth. So DCGI, which is the drug controller of India, has allowed Hetero and Cipla to manufacture and market Gilead Sciences antiviral remdesivir drug. So Gilead Sciences is that pharmaceutical company of which is the actual manufacturer of remdesivir, and in India, Hetero and Cipla have been given the approvals to manufacture and market this drug for this company. So this drug has been included in the restricted emergency use. It will be launched by the name Cipremi by Cipla and Covifor by Hetero. The Union Ministry of Health and Family Affairs has also approved the use of remdesivir for patients with mild COVID-19 symptoms under the clinical management protocols for COVID-19 guidelines issued recently. So it says that the drug can be administered in the form of injection, should be given at a dose of 200 mg on day 1, followed by 100 mg daily for 5 days. To administer remdesivir in COVID-19 patients, hospitals need to take consent from them. Results of additional clinical trials, active post-marketing surveillance data, and reporting of serious adverse events need to be submitted to the government. However, this drug is not recommended for those with severe renal impairment and high level of liver enzymes, pregnant and lactating women, and those below 12 years of age. Now, what could be the important questions? It could be that what is the brand name, under what brand name would Hetero and Cipla launch remdesivir in India? Which company has originally started the manufacturing of remdesivir? Some quick facts about DCGI. DCGI stands for Drugs Controller General of India. It is a department of the Central Drug Standard Control Organization of Government of India, and this DGCI comes under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. It is responsible for the CDSCO, under which DGCI functions, is responsible for approval of licenses of specific categories of drugs such as blood and blood products, IV fluids, vaccines, and sera in India. The next news is India's first virtual healthcare and hygiene expo 2020 conducted. The Minister of State for Shipping and Chemicals and Fertilizers, Mansukh Mandaviya, has introduced India's first virtual healthcare and hygiene expo 2020. This expo has been organized by FICCI, which is the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry. This exhibition aims to give boost to such health and hygiene endeavors, and it is the first ever largest virtual exhibition in India. FICCI is a non-government, not-for-profit organization which has its members from corporate, private, public, SMEs, and MNCs. Its headquarters are in New Delhi, and the current president is Sangeeta Reddy. So, quick question that can come from this news is, who launched India's first virtual healthcare and hygiene expo? Which of the following organization organized India's first virtual healthcare and hygiene expo? What is the full form of FICCI? Where are the headquarters of FICCI situated? Who is the president of FICCI? Now we'll be having a look at the important states news. So the first news in the states news section is that Rajasthan government plans to launch Indira Rasoi Yojana, under which meals would be provided at the concessional rates. So this announcement was made by the Rajasthan CM, Mr. Ashok Gehlot. He has said that the government will spend around rupees 100 crores each year on this scheme. So 3 years ago, about in 2016, the then CM of Rajasthan, Mrs. Vasundhara Raje, had also launched a scheme a similar kind of scheme by the name Annapurna Rasoi Yojana, under which a subsidized meal scheme in which breakfast was offered for rupees 5 and lunch was offered for rupees 8. So the Annapurna Rasoi Yojana was on the lines of Amma canteens of Tamil Nadu, which were launched by Jayalalitha, who was the then CM of Tamil Nadu. In these Amma canteens, food was provided at subsidized rate to the poor people. So the important questions that can be formed from this news is, which state would launch Indira Rasoi Yojana? Or it could be the reverse. Rajasthan is going to launch a meal scheme at concessional rates. What is the name of the scheme? Or there could be which state had launched Annapurna Rasoi Yojana. Also, one more fact that Tamil Nadu was the first state in the country that had launched something on the lines of Amma canteens where subsidized food was provided. The next news is Ambubachi Mela at Assam's Kamakhya temple has been cancelled. This is for the first time that the famous Ambubachi Mela, which happens in the Kamakhya temple in Guwahati every year, has been cancelled due to the outbreak of coronavirus. Only the rituals will be performed in the temple and all entrances will remain closed. What is this Ambubachi Mela? Ambubachi Mela is an annual Mela that is happening at the Kamakhya temple in Guwahati, Assam. It is the celebration of the yearly menstruation course of goddess Kamakhya. So the temple, Kamakhya temple, is dedicated to the mother goddess Kamakhya. This temple, according to the history, was built by King Naraksura. So during this festival, it is believed that the presiding goddess of the temple, Devi Kamakhya, the mother of Shakti, goes through her annual cycle of menstruation during this stretch. It is also believed that during the monsoon rains, the creative and nurturing power of menses of Mother Earth becomes accessible to the devotees at this site during the Mela. So for the first time, it is being cancelled. The important questions from this news could be, where is the Kamakhya temple situated? Ambubachi Mela is related to which state? Ambubachi Mela is related to which of the following temples? Okay. Let's move on to the next news. The next news is a very interesting news. Tripura will start Play Little Study Little scheme for school kids. Tripura government will launch this scheme from June 25th. This name of the scheme is Ek Tu Khelu, Ek Tu Padho, which means play little and study little. According to the scheme, the students would be getting audio and video contents on learning activities, projects, along with fun and gaming activities via SMS or WhatsApp services. The education state headquarters would sharing the learning contents to different district academic coordinators, and they would share the same to the headmasters of the school in their concerned areas. The headmasters would give responsibility to the teachers to share the content among the students. So during this lockdown, a lot of state governments are coming up with lots of initiatives to keep the children occupied. So direct questions could be asked from this scheme. This news would be, which state has launched Ek Tu Khelu, Ek Tu Padho scheme, or which state has launched Play Little, Study Little scheme. Or alternatively, the question could be asked, Tripura has started a scheme for the school students. What is the name of that scheme? Now we'll be studying about the economy, banking and business news. So in today's economy news, we would be studying about the bank loans which have been sanctioned to the MSME sector. Now, what does MSME stand for? MSME is micro, small and medium enterprises. And our union MSME minister is Mr. Nitin Gadkari. So PSU banks, PSU stands for Public Sector Undertaking Banks, have sanctioned rupees 40,416 crores to the MSME sector, and specifically Gujarat and Tamil Nadu are the top two states where the maximum MSMEs have received the loans. So for Gujarat, it is 4156 crores, and for Tamil Nadu, it is 4012 crores. And till date, not till date, till June 18, 2020, SBI was the one that has given away the maximum loans, and these loans have been given under the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme, which also stands for ECLGS. So, what could be the important questions? The important questions could be expand ECLGS, okay, and which is the state where the MSMEs have received the maximum loan, and which is the bank that has disbursed the maximum loan? Who is the Union MSME Minister of India? Now we'll be doing the important awards. Amartya Sen, who's an Indian economist, has won Peace Prize of the German book trade. So Amartya Sen is also a Nobel Prize winning economist. He won his Nobel Prize in the year 1998, and he was awarded for the category of economics, and he is also an economic philosopher. So he's won this prestigious Peace Prize of German book trade for his decades long work on the question as a questions of global justice. So this award ceremony traditionally takes place at the end of Frankfurt Book Fair on October 18 and is broadcast live on television. The Peace Prize of German book trade has been awarded annually since 1950, and it comes with the cash prize of 25,000 euros. Its aim is to honor individuals who have made an outstanding contribution to the realization of idea of peace, primarily through his activities in the fields of literature, science and art. Now we'll be doing the important people in news. Nikhil Rathi has been appointed as the CEO of Financial Conduct Authority. And what is this Financial Conduct Authority? Financial Conduct Authority regulates the financial firms which provide services to consumers and maintains the integrity of financial markets. It is headquartered in London. So this appointment has been done by Chancellor of Exchequer in the United Kingdom, who is Mr. Rishi Sunak. And Nikhil Rathi is the CEO of London Stock Exchange. Mr. Rathi will succeed Christopher Woolard, and he has been appointed for a period of 5-year term. So the direct question could be who has been appointed as the CEO of FCA, and probably another question could be who is the present Chancellor of Exchequer in the United Kingdom. What could be the full form of FCA? Important appointments. So IFTAS has appointed T. Tabi Sankar as the chairman and N. Rajendra as its CEO. Now let's see what is IFTAS. So IFTAS is Indian Financial Technology and Allied Services, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Reserve Bank of India. Reserve Bank of India, or RBI, is the central or the apex bank of the country. So IFTAS is mandated to design, deploy and support IT related services to the RBI and all banks and financial institutions in the country. It was established to facilitate the smooth functioning of banks, supporting them to innovate and to craft unique digital banking services. So Mr. T. Tabi Sankar has been appointed as the chairman and N. Rajendran has been appointed as the CEO. So what could be the important questions? Who is the chairman of IFTAS? Who is the CEO of IFTAS? IFTAS is a wholly owned subsidiary of which of the following? And what is the full form of IFTAS? We have arrived to the last section of the session, that is the important days. So 23rd June is observed as the International Olympic Day. International Olympic Day is celebrated across the world on June 23 every year to mark the importance of games and sports in our lives and to promote participation in games and sports across the world irrespective of age, gender, caste or religion. International Olympic Committee was founded on June 23 in 1894, and the first Olympic Day was celebrated on 23rd June 1948. WHO, which is the World Health Organization, and International Olympic Committee, would work together to improve, in fact, have been working together to improve health through sports. So on the Olympic Day 2020, WHO together with IOC advocates for everyone to be #be active in their daily routines. So with this, we come to the end of this video. Guys, I hope you are able to understand the current affairs. And thank you for listening. And if you like this video, do not forget to give a thumbs up. And please do not forget to provide your valuable feedback in the comment section. Thank you once again for listening and take care.